Hello and welcome to the Upsurge League, and I believe this is the first playdate of our group stages, and well, I'm very excited to be here. Whippet will be joining me. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great as my chair hydraulics seem to fail me just as the introduction to things. But yes, of course, second time joining you here across the pond in NA, and I cannot wait to get into these matchups. It's always enjoyable, so I'm ready to bring the passion and wake up every single person living on my street.
Yeah, I remember last week when we did the open quals, you had a wonderful response from your neighbors. So let's avoid that, and but still keep the passion going. Now you talked about a couple of games from the groups, and we're going to be taking a game from each group so far. So why not bring this up? Why not see what we're looking at exactly? X13 versus Lemmicky is going to be our first game, so that's the top and the bottom seed from Group A, I do believe, with X13 leading the charge at the end of those qualifiers. So I'm very excited to see what they have in store. They're going to be a huge team to look at. Now, these names don't necessarily mean much to me, but they might to you. So let's take a look and see who's on here. Okay, it seems one of us actually wrong. So we're just gonna come back to our beautiful faces, Whippet. Let's talk about maps. Let's see what you want. Let's talk about what you want to see, what you think we're going to see, because let's be honest, as casters, those two never really go together, do they?
Yes, certainly not. I think as from our perspective, at least here in the Virtual Casters, we want to see something that's going to, send sparks flying, be a volcanic eruption of action. But as teams are starting off, the early stage of these playdays and the group stages, they're going to go for safer bans, I believe. And well, we're going to have our map video on screen for you now. And again, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too bleeding edge in terms of map choices. I don't think we're going to be seeing a chalet. I know you finally got your first chalet cast recently,
Yeah.
but I don't think you're going to be able to find your second one here as Coastline first to go, followed up by Consulate. So seeing Coastline go strains my heart just a little bit because it's always fun to watch teams go absolutely ballistic on this map. But again, not a favorite choice for many teams, and Consulate again follows that trend. Chalet, the newest addition, is going to be pulled out of the playing circulation. As I mentioned, it's not going to be a common choice here just quite yet at this stage of the season. Villa is going to be next to go, and we're going to start closing down the trifecta. The most common three maps are still left in circulation.
Hmm.
Oh, this is a tense one. Will we see
Oregon?
Oregon? Oh,
Oregon?
no!
No, this is interesting suddenly. But the question does remain CAF or Clubhouse. Now, everybody, we've all seen this before. And yeah, we're going to be heading to Clubhouse. X13 will have the opportunity of that first pick on the defensive side. And, well, shocking nobody, they want to go defender. Big thing that really annoys me, Whippet, my first Chalet cast wasn't even with you.
Oh, that's tragic, really. But I'm sure you absolutely smashed out of the park. A chalet can very much give you some interesting matchups. So can Clubhouse. Yes, it's one of the older maps in circulation, but a great litmus test to how teams can shape up against each other because it's a map that, throughout every evolution, every meta, every climate we've seen in the game, it's evolved and changed with. While the map itself has stayed the same, the methods of playing it have often varied widely from the current climate of an attacker-favored meta to back in the days where SSG were dominant with their roam presence. But your rosters are on screen now, and Critics, as I'm horrific with names, you'll take us through these.
Yeah, I think I tried to throw it to you last time, so production just said no, we're not having Whippet try anything with the names. But on the side of X13, the people leading Group A at the moment is going to be Snow, Craze, Elsist, Habibi, and J Slime. A couple of formidable names, not based on the spelling alone, and the amount of vowels I can see at this point. On the flip side, though, Lay Mickey really have something to prove after those qualifiers. You're going to have Relapse, Mouse, Newt, Real Barring, and Scams. Like I said, these names don't really mean that much to me, mainly because I'm EU and I'm trying to focus a bit more on that. But still, I'm very excited to learn from these players, see what they've got to bring to the table, because, well, Upsurge, you do attract quite a nice amount of talent, and that's exactly what we want to see today.
Yeah, we always want to see fantastic talents go head to head. And as you mentioned, I'm in a similar boat. We're across the pond, we're European casters, so not necessarily these names don't necessarily evoke images of the plays that they performed in the past or exactly what they, have done before. But perhaps they can, set some of that imagery straight as we're ready to hop into our very first match of the evening. And we are going to Clubhouse. It's going to be X13 versus Limiki. Who is going to be able to take the dub here?
I'm very, very interested. These bands, well, I'm not going to expect much of these to be very different. I'm expecting to see, maybe a Thatcher Maverick ban. We're getting something off that screen at the moment, so we're just going to come back to ourselves, and we're going to have a nice little surprise with these bans. So, Thatcher Maverick, those are the typical ones. You look at it and you simply
Oh.
say, well, you take those away, and then you dictate the pace of the game. Which means bans that don't really follow this meta, they're going to be doing exactly that. Habana being taken away, and Whippet, well, you've got to think immediately of that bottom floor and the hatches.
Yeah, this is a very interesting ban. Seeing that Habana first to go is interesting, but as you mentioned, the Mickey's not going to take too much of a divergence from normality, as that Thatcher's next to go. To me, instantly with Habana gone, Thatcher now following, this is going to kind of force out that Kaid ban. Whether it's the Mickey to take that out or X13, it's going to be interesting. But the Moroccan operator most likely has to go just for ease of access to these hatches. That's going to make the defense
Hmm.
on the basement very impervious if he remains in this fight. And well, this ban's coming out, and that's going to be Valkyrie. So those information cameras are going to be a little or no longer in the fray. So X13, they've got to kind of, think about this ban just a little bit. They have a little bit of time now as we have a pause
Hmm.
for some technical issues. But Kaid still in the playing field. Do they ban out the Moroccan operator? Or do they take operators like Mirror, Maestro, or Echo out of the fray? Because if you leave Kaid on the board, you're on the defense first. That gives you the electric claw to work with. And that
Yeah.
electric claw could really make sites, ECC really difficult to break through, especially with that Thatcher ban. Because even if you bring that Kali, those claws can be placed in positions impervious to the LD lands. And downstairs as well, it adds that extra step, that extra level of complication to be able to breach down those hatches and give yourself a very easy access to the objective itself.
Yeah, now the big thing that really circumvents a lot of this is going to be that Maverick. He is going to be a must-bring operator at this point. You look at that breach and you suddenly say, okay, well, if there is that gate on the board with those very, very sneaky positions, well, then you need to bring that Maverick. You need to go for the Maverick trick. This suddenly offers a lot of opportunities for the defenders as well as the attackers themselves. Because you think about it, right? You get the soft destruction done, you get your Maverick, you get in that wall open, and then suddenly, as soon as that Mav trick is complete, well, that wall becomes soft. If you have a C4, if you have bullets prepped, or if you have, dare I say, an Alder, well, and you're feeling aggressive, then you can really, really get to work, get some bullets stomped through. You know exactly what that Maverick's going to be, which is why I think a lot of teams, they tend to opt for getting a little hole where you can get a frag grenade through to
Hmm.
stop it, like any kind of tricking whatsoever. But the bottom floor is something I really want to talk about. These hatches, okay, Claw, it's going to do nothing to it. And when you look at getting the hatches open as an attacking team, you will have map control. You will have control of that stock area if you go for that hatch, or lobby and kitchen and main stairs if you're going for the moto hatch. So leaving that operator on the board, I feel like X13, they're giving themselves the opportunity of, it's not too easy, but it's not too difficult. So when they go into their attack, they still have a really good chance.
Yeah, certainly. So, we're talking about the two kind of core sites there, but when we go and look at the tertiary option of going to gym and bedroom, again, those electric claws can play a massive part on that as well, whether it's holding the extension in towards cache, or you can place a claw down below by pool table, which completely stop that kind of downstairs, or completely stop that wall from being opened up. And well, all of our theory crafting about the use of these electric claws might just be kind of showing providence as Maestro is the ban. Getting rid of that Alda, getting rid of those evil eyes, no longer an option for the defensive strategy. So that Kaid is on the board. I think just keep your eye on that little engagement intricacy as this game plays out, because it could be a nuisance, and it is going to get brought up by Snows for X13 on that Kaid is Church and Arsenal, our very first site.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Expect to see Kate and Maverick in almost every single round at this point, unless we're seeing something off bar, like, well, maybe a bar stock, dare I say, because if you bring that position, well, you don't really need a Kate. There's not much hard destruction that can really be staved off to help you guys defend quite well. But we are gonna be heading to Church Arsenal now with a Maverick on the board. I think that's the right decision because you look at that site and the main breach with the main focal point of that site isn't there because it's that bottom floor. It suddenly makes CCTV, the fact that it can be opened so easily by this Maverick getting through the ban phase. That's X13 saying, well, they benefit a lot less on the bottom floor. Let's focus down on there. You bring the cage, you have those hatches, it still does a little bit of damage, and it stops the hatches from being opened up, most importantly, from that Habana who is banned. Speaking of this Habana ban, this kitchen's just got a lot more difficult. They're going to go for an ace. They're going to bring that ace, and I think that's what's going to be mainly for this kitchen. But when you think about an ace and you think about the possibilities of impact tracking and flanks, we're gonna need to see that floor ripped up completely before the hatch gets opened up, because you just can't let players like Habibi and Craze with those impact nades have the opportunity to get even one Selma charge, because you need to get the hatch. And maybe without a Thermite or Habana, you've got a question. They can't really rotate that much, so are they going to go all in for the kitchen hatch?
I think a full commitment towards that kitchen hatch perhaps is going to be misguided as well. Habibi gets aggressive and gets the opening kill only seconds into that round, denying that entryway, and that's going to be losing your Zofia of Barring so early in this. Not only do you lose a very active gun, you're going to lose those breaching charges and all the availability or utility that Lifeline provides. Relapse tries to make an entryway towards Strip Club now, but again, the damage in this early phase of the round has been done. We did mention in our prep phase that if you want to be able to use those Selma charges to breach open this kitchen hatch, they're going to need to tear open this door, and they've got the best opportunity to do it if they have that buck in play. Skeleton Key is going to send some buckshot down range, and Habibi's going to find himself taking a small lick of damage, but nothing too bad, nothing to write home about just quite yet, as the entryway begins to roll out. Drones for information, and they're pretty safe and secure that they can push in the kitchen now. One thing though, J-Slime, look at this over by Adam on Secret. He's going to get droned out now, position spotted, but this fight's going to be very important. That Maverick is alone and isolated from his team, and if he walks into the jaws of this carbine, he could be in for a very rude awakening. Shots to fresh and landing, but he's just going to scamper away and not bother taking that fight, as he's got more important tasks at hand. Getting open that hatch in Moto is going to be primary objective number one.
Yes, if J-Slime finds the kill onto the Maverick, whether it's now or in a little bit, that's going to be absolutely huge. However, we're going to see the Ash rush in. J-Slime cleans it up very, very comfortably. Relapse, holding that shift key maybe a little bit too long. And one thing I really want to point out now, your two soft destructions are gone. You have frag grenades in the form of a Maverick, where you can get rid of these Banshees. But, well, you can't really afford to. You need to get the hatches open. There may be a Maestro ban, meaning the pressure for the soft breach is taken away a bit, but a minute's left, and a lot of utility still remains. We're only seeing the hatches open up now for Mickey. J-Slime just has to hold in blue. You found two opening kills on the defense side, so you just hold it down. You bunker. You make them come to you. This is where we're going to see the round dictated. We have got drones in sight if you're on the side of Mickey or a supporter, and Scams is going to try and clear up a lot of the utility. Alcest will find another kill though, as Newt's able to finally find the first kill onto the X13 roster. Finding Craze. Now, drop into Moto, seemingly alone, will be taken away by J-Slime, finding a second kill. It's all down to Scams, able to find J-Slime on the drop. It's a blue, but the position's given away. The wallbang comes through. Mickey on here to mess around and pushing down blue. Scams is going to have to prove it. He gets rid of this Banshee, but the position's given away. The diffuser, it's all the way in Moto. 9 seconds, something huge is gonna happen. And well, it's just not going to take place with Habibi finding that kill. X13 looking dominant, but Mickey, there were quite some promising things.
Well, Mickey's showing they've got some fangs. They can definitely draw blood in this matchup. Habibi finding that final kill brought us into the action with the opening and closes us out with that conclusion as well. And X13, a very strong defense of that basement. It was very much a tier defense. Once they got that opening kill, you instantly saw that Lucy falling back, knowing, J-Slime, I'm not going to overextend. I'm going to be fine in this position. I've got the opening kill. I'm going to fall on back down Secret and let the Jaeger do the rest of the damage. Great setup, great strategy getting brought out. One thing from the Mickey that I saw is that the entirety of that offense was a little bit scattered. They were very far away, very isolated, and it didn't seem like there was a very overarching strategy. They knew what components they needed to get opened up. They knew that they needed to get the kitchen hatch, they know they needed to get Moto, but they weren't able to really build upon those key aspects getting opened up, and they couldn't capitalize fully upon that. They're going to go up now to CC and Cash, and seeing a mirror getting brought out is an interesting choice. What will Craze do with these windows? I wonder, will we see one so daringly placed on that main balcony? Likely not. Probably just going to be on the Cash wall to get a view in towards that wall itself. The garage getting reinforced as well. They have that extra security. But it looks like the entirety of Moto, the entirety of that server wall has been opened up in a while. This is certainly something new, as we're going to see a mirror window placed in lounge, open angles in the garage itself. Oh, Craze, he might have an absolute field day. A castle barrier there to protect him as well. If this push comes from garage, it might be a massacre.
Right, okay, here's what we're looking at right now, just so you know. You're looking at this bottom floor hold, you've touched upon it, the castle barricades. They're only going to support because it's going to cost utility to get open, and the Banshees are there as well. This is 100% a bottom floor hold. You have got a Maverick, but you look at the utility that's committed down below. You look at those mute jammers. You need to clear it out at some point. There's still C4s on the bottom floor. X13, they're basically saying, well, we don't want to play a typical strat. We know you have Maverick. That breach is going to get opened up, so we're going to play for cash. You have those that mirror window. You have that utility there. And, well, simply put, if you play down below, you can catch anyone trying to cover that post line. You hold that position, Scams is going to take some damage from that Maverick hole itself. Going to have to opt for that repel instead, but a BB is just going to find the kill. The Maverick's gone, the breach is done. Now there is no option but to go for the garage, or to go for construction, or go for a split push. And in doing so, now you're going to play right into Graves. You have those lines of sight with the mirror window. You have complete control of the lounge area. And Mickey, they have to come to you. It's just like on that bottom floor.
This is going to be a very difficult round now for Lemicki. It's so much damage done. The relapse finds the C4 from the mid-air, but that's going to be less getting Mao. That's your buck off the board. That's such a pivotal amount of self-destruction no longer available. And it's 3 survivors on the offensive side remain. Every gun on the defense trained towards destruction now. This push is going to be a brutal one. They have nothing to clear away that mute jammer as well. No grenades at their disposal. They've lost it. They popped the window down the lounge, but it doesn't matter now. The push is coming from construction. Everyone's trained in, and that's going to be Craze winning a fight that he has no right to do so on the boring, and that's going to grow the advantage for X13 even further. A 5 versus 2. Relapse looks for the trade-off, but well, the mirror is now in basement. Has a free reign of rotation. Could even go up the main stairs for a flank. Someone spotted outside as Relapse just trying to find anything in this round, but shut down by Habibi from a long range of the UMP. It's all down the newt in a 1 versus 5. 35 seconds remain, and surely he isn't going to be long for this world. Gets one, but at this point, I think he's just padding the stats. He's sitting outside by construction single. He's going to get peeked out by the bedroom door, find some damage taken, vaults on out, and well, into the open arms of Jay Slime, who shuts him down with the MP5. As X13 claim their second round, and with this time a far more dominant fashion.
Yeah, the time for impact frags was unfortunately over for Newt. Being able to find a smoke, yeah, that's great, that's huge, but doing it when your entire team is dead and about 40 seconds approximately left on the clock, that's just not it. X13, a very nice setup. We saw Mickey trying to go for the construction side push and go for both sides. They wanted for that top floor and for that bottom floor. They committed barring with the soft destruction to do that. But by the time you get rid of that castle barricade and you've already lost your main option to get onto the breach, the Maverick, you look at it and you simply say, okay, well, these mirror windows, how are we going to deal with them? The clearest option is down below. Barring still needed to push through and clear it out. Wasn't going to win that gunfight. Just being taken away by that Vector. He just drops down and then goes back around. Exiting a very nice setup, a very nice round. And most importantly, very comfortable, like you said. A lot more than last time. We saw Habibi finding 2 kills to just open things up. Then it came down to Elsis to just compound this. X13, they're playing together, they're playing comfortable. Wesley, Mickey, they're kind of being taken aback already. They're not really sure what to do when they see this mirror setup. Because let's be honest, when you go to a map like Clubhouse, do you expect it? Gym bedroom, though, that's going to be on the cards, and as we look at this setup, we're going to see that typical extension towards cash, a reinforcement put on that gym wall, and that makes, that interests me. I'm thinking, well, okay, you're looking at a typical hold, but what else do you have in store? You've got the mirror, certainly, and I think that'll be a bit more default, but what are we expecting here, Whippet?
Well, I think we're going to see a commitment from Lemicki to push into this cache and server area. Scams, I wonder will he be able to keep himself alive in this fight? Perhaps they could just create a hole, get rid of the mute jammer like that, and use down the charge to open it up. I think that would be a more efficient use of their time to do so. But it already looks like he's falling off of that balcony, and he's not going to opt for that strategy. Barring in a great position here to lock down construction and apply pressure, can hold that rotate directly, but as the shots rain through, the tracers are spotted, they're going to know he's on that position, so that rotation is going to get called out as a no-go for X13 right now, and they're just going to be able to hunker up because, well, there's been no pressure applied by Lemicki yet as we're still in the very opening stages of this round. Some are getting used to open up that main balcony. A wise choice, perhaps. You hear that shooting through the wall there. Instead of wasting time for the Maverick, they're trying to be efficient, getting that open. And now the battle's moving forward before this extension begins. Baby's already taking a little bit of damage as Relapse tries to make that entry. It's going to be a tricky one to do, however. Lots of angles trained on the Ashes and Frostmats there as well, but taken out by support. J-Slime. This is going to be a critical position now. He has the shield for information and protection, and a great weapon to boot. He's going to be able to deny that drone. Barring is going to be super important for this one. Has to find that Jaeger. Relapse, trading off some damage there, tapping away. But look at the clock, look at the timer draining away. X13 know they've got this round control just by their extension presence alone. And as that timer gets closer and closer to 0, pressure begins to mount for Lamicki.
I'm gonna be honest, X13, they're pulling out of cash, but not because of any fault of their own. They're just saying, okay, they've been here a while, we can start moving back and take the longer angles we've got. We had Malusi, Habibi was alive inside that cash for way too long for an attacking side to allow. And had Impact Nades to deal with Hard Breach. They've already committed 2 Selmas because that main breach, it didn't go quite well. Now you're committing your Maverick down below. A frag grenade on that mirror window can do huge work. But there's nobody there. They're just pulling back and playing it safe. X13, they know the pace of this round and how it's playing out. Where they need to be safe. Right now, they're just holding their position. A bit of damage will go out yet again, but as you said in the first round, I'm going to say again, nothing to write home about. And that's very much been the theme of the Lamicki attack at the moment. It's been very unsubstantial. Right now, you've got Snows on a main stairs hold, ready for this Banshee to go off. Habibi, though, is going to get taken down. Elsis with the refrag, but Relapse scams and Barring. They're going to clean up and eat up indeed. Craze is all alone in gym. Now Lamicki's looking like something is there. Now, the Frost looking to get into the bathroom. A retake is possible. If there's anything X13 have shown, it's going to be shown right there. Relapse gets taken down and Craze looks, but the mirror window's there and it takes them out from Nuke. Lamicki, it took them the last 30 seconds with it, but they found something. They pushed through and they found a round.
Better late than never, and perhaps that was something to write home about. A fantastic collapse on the objective, pushing deep from Logi, finding that success in terms of the kill feed. We saw them light it up orange and get their momentum rolling now. Again, a great start from them, but can they capitalize upon that? Because so far, the early stages of their attacks have been, well, a little bit quiet, a little bit kind of timid. And if they can use this that final conclusion to build upon and get themselves a little bit more out of their shell, we might see this get a little bit closer as we go back downstairs. Church and Arsenal, our side of choice. I'm wondering, though, Lamicki need to be a little bit more coordinated here. Can they find that extra coordination and be more time efficient? Only their entryway, but their mid-round. They need to get these hatches open. They need to get their position set up and their flank swatch guarded. Much better, much more efficient plays required, but we saw that they're a threat. When the guns come alive and they start to sing, they can find success. So X13 perhaps checked a little bit there, and I wonder if they'll be able to continue their momentum, or will Lamicki turn the tide of this early?
The big thing for me right now with it is I'm looking at Lamicki and I'm saying, yeah, that was a great round. As soon as they said, right, we need to step up, we need to push through, win our gunfights and plan, that's exactly what they did. That was huge, but they still wasted a lot of time. They still need to find that. Yes, one round is great, but you need to find at least another one and another 2 if you really want to get a very good attacking half in at the moment. X13, however, they're going to write this off as a blip and get back to their form ideally. They just play aggressive yet again. They look for these kills, and Chris is going to try it. He's going to find Barring yet again. The second time on this site, and the second time Barring is that opening kill. Craze just wants to shut it all down. Now, X13 in the same position we saw the first time. We're just seeing a repeat where they get a kill, and then they start to pull back. Now they have the opportunity of maybe having J-Slime in that lounge area alongside Habibi. They can apply pressure whenever they want to. There isn't a necessary need to get aggressive. Realistically, anything they do now is just going to add on. And if they can do that, Lamicki, they can't feel uncomfortable. That hatch, though, that's going to get open in record time without any real opposition from the defense. And that's quite interesting. Although, there it is now. Habibi on the flank is able to find Relapse.
Oh, I love this. So J-Slime there on support, holding the Malusi as well, playing that more passive position in secret. That's a great level of coordination now. Newt has to step up to the plate and win this engagement. They have the grenades to work with as well as Elset. It's going to be in a great position. The first ADS is there. Mouse gets one in the Habibi. A C4, sorry, a smoke grenade toss to choke out this push. Scams tries to make an aggressive push here. Barring is gonna, it's all disconnect there, unfortunately. Grenade bounced off the wall, looks to get aggressive. The M4 sings, but to no avail. The SMG-11, though, bearing down, looking deep in towards his mouse, holding the rotation out of Dirt Tunnel, but to no avail. We've already seen the cross towards AK, as now Scams in a nasty position, has to fight against two guns trained on this position. Snows gets one of Newt, that's going to be the AUG singing its Song of Death. He's trying to look for more as J-Slime rotates down, and Snows finds a second. Slime from the Sentinel shots down range, but Scams slaps down Elset, and now it's a 1 versus 3. But it doesn't matter, it's not going to last too long as J-Slime shuts down Scams and finds a very successful round for X13.
Okay, I don't like this. I know the match replay feed just come in. Is this happened again? Right. Looking at this, X13, very nice from them. They found the opening kill. They realized they could put the pressure in. They could just go up and poke holes whenever they wanted to. A death by 1,000 paper cuts is something you talk about yourself with it. And I think that's evident here. It's something we saw where X13 were allowed to decide when these paper cuts were going to strike, when they were going to do that damage. And when you're getting the hatches open, well, that's a really good time. The attack does the tunnel vision on that hatch. There wasn't any flank watch, even with a dead Zafir on the board, to keep Relapse alive, so Habibi on the flank, able to find that kill. That Moto, you've suddenly lost control. If you want to commit there, well, then you've got to go and clear out Lounge and clear out Habibi. You don't have time for that at that point. You go into dirt, you're looking for this opening kill, you're trying to push down, but as soon as they know that you're there, Scams, as soon as the ADS is burnt, the shield is gone, the smoke is pulled back. You're suddenly in a choke point. They try and rotate around, but the amount of players X13 have, it's just not going to let it happen. This point, we're going to be heading back to CCTV, and I'm interested to see whether let Mickey have anything for us. X13, I'd like to see this mirror castle set up again. I want to see Let Mickey do something else on the attack, because if they can, then we'll really see the merits of this defense. I think it's a strong one, but I really want to see it play out quite a bit more.
Yeah, same. One thing though on that kind of previous one, I want to rewind to and really give Mickey
Hmm.
some credit for is the fact that they brought a far better structure in their push. I think that when they achieved the objectives, they got the moto hatch open, they got the kitchen hatch open, they set themselves up in pretty decent positions. Yes, they were exposed to that flank, but they were able to kind of get that execution down towards dirt rolling. They just weren't able to win those single engagements. So better structure from them, lack perhaps of that potency on execution, but again, showing some little changes and improvements on their side. We're not going to see
Hmm.
that mirror setup getting brought out. Actually, no, we are. I was looking at the wrong side of the operator selection screen.
Shocking.
My eyes deceived me. I am.
I know it's late for us, but holy moly, man. Come on.
Listen, I'm not. I may have had to take a nap before joining our production
Ooh.
call this evening. It was. It's a
Ooh.
long day. It's a long day.
Yeah,
But
okay.
mirror is getting brought out again.
I'll let you
This
off.
strategy is an interesting one. It
Hmm.
completely mixes Garage, this entire kill box area, and it does leave Mirror somewhat exposed to that bar area. And I don't think there's going to be much of a hold or a presence in that position. They've got the
Hmm.
castle barriers there for added support. But I think it will throw Lemicki off a little bit, force them to commit to either a split push or a complete construction, and that's probably the intent behind this play or this strategy, is just to kind of throw off the offense a little bit, kind of make them wonder if their default strategies are going to work against it and force them in towards this construction area, because when you funnel lots of bodies into construction, a single C4 or a single smoke grenade can find itself mountains of damage.
Yeah, just one call out can change the entirety of a round. Big thing that I do like in this setup is it is actually quite flexible, because you don't need to commit the mirror to it. Now, you can have that castle, you can play it a lot better in stock, maybe have a rotate into bar and do that double door that we're going to see the big run in right now. Exactly that one right there. In doing that, you can play in the stock position, you can have your mirror, maybe have a mirror window for that construction, maybe have one on the actual breach itself, or in cache, ready to deal with this push in a more default setup. There's a lot of opportunities for variation from X13, that's what I want to see. Now, the shotgun holes on the breach, that's something else we're going to talk about a bit, because they're making it awkward for Scams. I think that's one of the key things as well in why he died so early in our last survival here. because he tried to get it open, he started to struggle, he had to take his time and use the canister. Running the canister out, it's not really possible anymore. But one thing you can do is push that Maverick into an awkward position. He took damage, he had to repel, that's where he died. I want to see this happen again. I want to see X13 manipulate the options that the attackers have available to really give themselves the best gunfight.
I think this main wall's already been achieved, so they're not going to opt for a Maverick trick, which is a wise decision considering it wasn't going to be too much of a successful time last time. The baby strikes first, his nuke's going to fall early. Only one Salma charge used and dies outside of Garage with those massive openings. Miles is stuck inside of Secret with no way through that castle barrier, so he's going to rely on his team to help him out. And we see in the prone body inside a bar, the Maverick lying created just above this player position. That's going to be the Melusi. He's just lying in wait. Patience is a virtue now, as J Slime knows there are players creeping in close to him as he's going to stay passive and patient. Relapse gets the kill in the Craze, however, a great angle, a long shot from him. Looks to find a second, perhaps, and even continuing his parade. He's going to get caught in a crossfire, though, as Habibi finds 3. The UMP sings as bodies hit the ground. Scams is there for a trade-off as J Slime's next to go, as Miles makes his entryway deep inside of stock. Perhaps he can use that skeleton key to open up the verticality and make cash an unbearable existence. I think he's doing that already. Finds a lot of damage under that smoke, but can't convert it into a down or kill. 55 seconds remain to 3 versus 2. Lamicki have a little bit of potency in this round. Can they collapse? That's going to be a great trade-off pre-fire there. Scan's looking to find some damage, but again, he doesn't have that positioning just yet. The verticality being opened up on a flank towards Master Bedroom. The baby's still holding on rafters, and this could be a good relocate. Perhaps Mouse is not aware of this position. Information perhaps is called out though. This is very panicky looking right now. 30 seconds remain. Grenade tossed out, not cooked at all. Trying to buy some time. Oh, a quad kill by the castle. And ace is on the board. Mouse next up to the plate, walking in the jaws of the UMP 45, but no, it's going to be Elseth to get the final kill. Mouse falls, and X13 win yet another round in very dominant fashion yet again.
Yeah, absolutely huge at that point, and Habibi, you can't talk about that round without saying the impact that the castle had. 4 kills, just isolating these attackers. Now, big things coming through was that mirror setup. Being able to open it and just say, okay, they're not going for Garage. They're not trying to deal with me. So I'm just going to open this thing, head around the other side, and use it as a sightline. That Buck felt a lot of pressure. We saw the Ash being taken down as soon as they tried to deal with the Melusi. Playing by that Maverick. Lamicki, they're trying to adapt, but X13, they can do it mid-round. They can do it on the fly. They can do it right when they need to. That's a big thing. Now, Lamicki, this is the real opportunity to put another round on the board. 4-2 split, that's what you really want when it comes to your attacking on Clubhouse. You want that 4-2 split. Ideally, you'd want a 3-3 as attack, but, well, that's just not going to happen. X13 heading back to the only side they've lost so far. My question is the adaptation. Will they hold longer into that cash room? Will they pull back earlier? What are they going to do to adapt to how this was held? The first thing that we're seeing is they're still bringing this mirror. They're still bringing these frost mats and putting them where Mickey decided to attack mainly.
I like this a lot, that map getting placed by that rotational. Again, that's one of the positions where if you're pushing in, that as the time crunch begins, are you really going to expect a frost map below a rotation? Normally they're in doorways or windows or default plant positions, so I imagine this might catch someone lacking as we see the entryway begin. Mouse looks like he's going to be repelling straight up towards the roof to open up this Logi hatch and apply that pressure. He might be able to cut off any potential rotations as well. He misses the first hammer. Come on, you've got to hit those. And he does so the second time of asking. Now this is going to be, well, cautiously waiting some pressure now. Grenade might come cascading through his feet, but let's jammer down to help cover up that rotation. A much more aggressive push from Lamicki so far, seemingly trying to get more aggressive and take the fight to the defensive side, which they need to do. Clearing this extension in cash and server is going to be very important. Recharge goes down, his shots narrowly missed ahead of the Ash. The entryway is made inside of that main wall. Salma's breaching through as well. The Relapse tried to take this fight, a great position to try and do so, but just misses the shots, a little bit slow and draw. Baby takes some damage as well. Red spots and yellow pings are there for information. The Buck is below, perhaps chewing up through the floor. Perhaps, no correction, myself bearings down below. The Relapse trying to take this fight as Craze inside of stock in a great position, and wow, pounces on Scams. He was hot napping And that's the opening kill yet again in favor of X13. They found so many opening kills, and that's been the key to success so far. Can they capitalize on it even further and hold on? Is a great crossfire now by J-Slime, set up a great angle to deny anyone's presence inside of Cash as the entry begins. And there's the Frost mod, at least one of them goes off. Chomp, chomp, there's nukes left in DBNO. An easy recovery, but free amount of damage now as that ace is on 20 HP for the remainder of this matchup.
Yes, Craze is going to try and get the kill, but has to pull back because, simply put, you can't stay in that position anymore. Mickey, they've moved on. The focus of their attack has changed. And there's J-Slime right there waiting for it. Finds that kill onto Barring. Big question now is who's died opening more times. Barring or Scams? It feels like both of them just getting picked off, and it is horrible to see. Now J-Slime just got to pull back. Long line of sights, they're going to work out huge for the defenders. New, gonna push into construction, will give away the position, but Mouse is gonna find her BB. Logi's gonna open up, but you're still in a 4 versus 3. You still need to try and find a meaningful entry onto site like you did last time. Elsa's gonna shut it down, but Mouse is gonna answer back. Craze, though, gets a second kill. Relapse is stuck outside. No diffuser, no hope, no information, and right now you're gonna be taken down by Craze, securing that kill. X13, their defense, they waited longer, they held that position, and they just simply said, we'll take you out. Craze playing down below, waiting for that frost mat. That was quite interesting. If you hit the secondary shotgun, just put a couple of shots through there if you know. The revive did come out, but still, that passive damage you talked about, Whippet, did such damage that Mickey, they got stalled out very early on. X13, they're gonna go into the attack 5-1. My big thing is the aggression that they seem to be very comfortable with. On defense, they didn't feel that much pressure. They felt very comfortable, very fluid on their defense, moving around, going for flanks, getting aggressive, and there wasn't much answer from Mickey. Is that going to change with the side swap? Maybe. Am I going to predict that it does? No.
Yeah, I think it might be a safe bet. As we see around history, I believe everything comes down to the kills in this one. We saw one post-plant situation that we saw getting converted, but the timer was not a factor as Mickey were able to close that out on time. So downstairs we go for Mickey's very first defense getting brought out, and some interesting changes perhaps in lineup. The biggest thing is going to be the double catchers getting brought out. They did flash that you had a vigil, so perhaps that might ring alarm bells for X13 that you could see an aggressive extended roam. Mirror getting brought out again, and it's often a rare treat to see this this operator getting played so often inside of a map like Clubhouse. But if we mention the aggression that we saw on the defense of X13, perhaps a better term would be controlled aggression. They were able to be aggressive when required. They were able to sit and play passive when they needed to do and just burn away the timer. But when they saw that they could go for the jugular, they pounced. They never missed the beat. They were always on perfect timing for that. So I wonder if they can try and kind of bring a similar ethos to this attacking side. Okay. Maybe it's going to be on the Sophia, making that entryway. Yes.
One thing I need to point out on what you just said, you're always saying they, because that's what it feels like from X13. They're going for the aggression, they're pushing. They played as a unit on the defense. That's something that doesn't change with the side swap. Hopefully, we're gonna see X13 being able to bring this and keep it going. Right now, they're gonna bring this utility. They're gonna have the flank watch, which was severely lacking from Mickey. You have to be honest. You have to be 100% there. Right now, X13, they're trotting out this dirt tunnel. The barricade there means Newt isn't going to spot it out. J-Slime's going to push through. J-Slime is a real opportunity to get aggressive, get the kill. And right now, well, it's simple. You hold that position, you wait until you have main stairs and moto control. As soon as you have that, you get ready to go. Because as soon as that lot opens up, you start pouncing. You catch them off guard. That blue is a key position to hold as a defender. It allows for rotations. It allows for something, but Newt's going to shut down at least one of them. The sledge, the vertical play, it's not going to come through, at least with the hammer. The impact trick will come through, does a bit of damage to Snows, but now you know that Relapse is playing down below. You know you have to deal with it. Dirt gets opened up. The pre-fire goes through, but doesn't land the shots. The impact trick comes out again, but without her Habana, that's going to be it. That hatch, it's not going to get open. Elsa's going to have to commit, and he does with a kill. He's able to find Relapse in a 4 versus 4 at the halfway mark.
Just one thing is Mao's on the main stairs in a great position to pounce and does so with success. Habibi falls and now Malusi looks for more. Newt finds a double kill as Boring is trying to collect the pieces. Might be able to find that revive and fight against the presence inside of Dirt. The upstairs control is there. The Maverick trying to chew through this hatch. But this is going to be a nightmare's position to find yourself in. A minute remains. A C4 tossed out, but to no avail. A shock to the system. Perhaps the Snows tries to battle for control of main stairs. Lamicki have come to life on the defensive side so far. 3 versus 2 in their favor, and 50 seconds remain. Can they close out their very first defensive round? A great roam presence from Mouse. He was able to collapse perfectly and trade off his life to great success. Upstairs, though, both players on the offensive side remain on this kitchen hatch. 30 seconds remain. They need to make a play. They've got one single smoke grenade left in the hands of Ace. They can get some visual cover, try and make a play on that, but a crossfire held to perfection, and C4's available. Alcest inside of Dirt Tunnel now, trying to crawl his way in. The smoke grenade is there for visual cover. It pops to perfection. It's going to be able to give an opportunity, but Boring holding Dirt Tunnel. A massive play from him, but the grenade goes off. Lamicki reduced to 1. It's going to be a brutal brawl now. Can Scams hold the line? 5 seconds remain, and Snow's caught up in that Banshee's wail. Has to go for a plant, but no option available. He's going to take the fight, and he wins it with 1 second on the clock. X13 come up clutch, and that's going to be a heart-wrenching moment from Lamicki. The mirror is so close to glory, but denied by the AK-12.
Absolutely huge coming out from the Ace of Snows. We saw a lot from X13. We saw rotations, we saw refrags, we saw incredible frag grenades, but Elsest, you got taken down as the frag went off and opened up that blue position. In doing so, well, Mouse, you were just in the worst spot to be, and you had that main control, and that would have been huge if there was a player blue. But that Maverick going down, well, it just didn't help. That frag grenade going off, and then Snow's getting the refrag. It shut everything down. You're holding that main corridor. You need to get aggressive, and when time ticks down, Snows knows exactly that. Goes to the gunfight, wins it out, and puts X13 onto match point. The knock will come through as a 6 pick, and, well, right now, if you're Lamicki, you've got to say, well, what is there that we can realistically do? Go into Cash Gym, not trying that bottom floor site again, because they've just seen your defense. They've just lost, they've just won against you on it. Why do you want to go there again? CCTV, that's going to be the site of defense.
Oh, 1 second and a dream from Snows in that previous round. I'm still trying to recover my heart rate from that. He had no right to win it. None at all, but finds a way to do so. And X13, as you mentioned, on the cover of the ground of match point here on Clubhouse, 1 round away from closing this out. And I think after that one, Lamicki's morale might be just a little bit fractured. You were so close, you could taste the victory of that defensive round, and it was snatched away from you in probably one of the most gut-wrenching ways. So the entryway begins. We're going to see some presence down towards this main balcony. The holes opened up as well to cause some chaos, make it difficult for this Maverick to do their job cleanly. I wonder if they're just going to use that grenade strategy. Is Relapse first to fall, and the Nook is going to get it. J-Slime making the FMJ sing and finds the head of that Malusi. So the MP5 and null and void, and spotted out the player inside a garage. Nook's now compromised, at least in positioning. No stealth is a factor. Relapse perhaps calling that they should have found the Nook. They saw it coming, but it's not going to work out. Grenade toss up the main stairs to clear away barbed wire or another Banshee. And this is, well, a tricky round for Lamicki early on.
Yeah, losing that opening kill, that's real difficult. Now you're looking at Mouse wanting to come up from that roam and commit, but J-Slime gotta be able to find another with that Nook. In doing so, you have that lounge control. You can get aggressive. A frag grenade can go up the red stairs, and it looks like it's going to. Time ticking out. Scams is gonna find an answer, but Mouse is gonna get another kill as well. A 3 versus 3. This is just what Lamicki needed. But now, they still need to defend again. They have still got just over half the round remaining. Rafters is in that position to play for the breach, but smoke canisters. Well, my magnets and a Jaeger 416. Is it enough? Can it keep Lamicki in the game? It will find out very, very soon, but right now we're seeing X13 wait. They're getting information. They're finding out what they need to deal with. But Mouse is going to be doing exactly that. Elsis finds an answer. The aggression comes through, and Snow's able to find a kill. It's all down to Mouse now, playing on the red stairs and just can't get it. X13, they're going to win things out. They're going to shut down Lamicki, only dropping 1 round. Whip it. 1 round. The leaders of Group A will start off very, very strong.
I think the single word of dominance is the best way to describe that. Yeah. They were ruthless. They were efficient. They were aggressive when needed to be, and calm and ice in their veins, especially Snows, who came up clutch with a 1 second remaining clutch to get his team onto that match point, and I believe finding a triple kill there in the
Yeah.
conclusion on the absolutely supreme from them. Well deserved
Mm.
victory. I mean, Lemicki, you've got lots of VOD to look at now to try and reshape your holes on Clubhouse, but a fantastic and dominant display from X13.
Yeah, now X13, they're going on strong. They're really giving a good showing for themselves after these qualifiers, and in doing so, they're making, like I said, a lot of VOD review to do. There was good elements in there. The coordination in that one round you were able to pick up. As soon as it came to 30 seconds, and you said, like, let's play together, let's win our gunfights. That's when you won it. That's when you pushed through. You were able to find refrags. You lost a player, but dropped and got 2 more to answer back for it. You kept on moving. You shut them down and isolated the roamers, which just became such a prevalent issue throughout the entire match so far. And I've got to say, well, Mickey, there's a lot to do, a lot of working to go for, but a lot of room for improvement as well. I think there's a lot of potential in that team moving forward. But X13, let's not take anything away. A very strong performance, a very well coordinated game, bringing out the strats at day one, basically saying, we're going to win this. We're not going to let you get a single chance, because I think they realize that Mickey is a team where if you give them that chance, they will take it. So congratulations to them. They are going to be winning their first game so far. We do have one more from Group B coming up later. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'll double check now. It's going to be Prevail going up against Tidal from Group B. And I've been told by production to expect a bit more balanced game with it.
Well, I can't wait for that one. While watching a team be dominant, and the display that we just witnessed from X13 is great. You get to see a real team finding their stride. But when two teams in a bit more equal playing field go head to head, you get to see sparks fly. And I cannot wait for that one. I'm sure it will be an exciting one. So until we're ready to jump into that one, I believe we're going to be cutting to a break. So grab yourself a refreshing beverage, enjoy your time, sit back and relax to our lovely tunes in our waiting screen. And we will be back for our very next matchup.
Who the fuck you go to the show with last night?
I didn't go to the show last night.
You ain't got to lie. 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 You ain
Hello and welcome back to the Upsurge Premier League. I'm McCready, joining me is Whippet, and we just saw X13 have a very comfortable game against Mickey, and Mickey a lot of things to improve upon and take forward moving forward. But we're not done yet, Whippet. We still have another game to go, don't we? And that's going to be Prevail versus Tidal from Group B.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting one. Production have primed us with the knowledge. It's going to be a little bit closer than our previous matchup. And, well, I think that's going to be something exactly what everyone's waiting to watch. Well, our rosters are on screen. And, well, I'm going to give it to you, Cody. Again, my track record with reading names is pretty abysmal. So off you go.
Yeah, it's fine. You've got Rush, Exist, Gizmo, Momo, and Boomski. They're going to be backing up that Prevail roster and looking to really push us through. Now, Tidal, you've got X-Stars, Packrat, ReadSync, Unlimited, and Waltz. Yet again, I'm going to have to be brutally honest here with it. These names don't mean much to me as of yet, but I'm hoping they can have the same kind of impact as Habibi, or maybe, you know, I'm forgetting the names already. Habibi, I'm going to stick with that. Snows, yeah, Snows and Habibi. Maybe they can have that impact. Going into this map, it's going to be very, very interesting. So we're going to take a look exactly at that, and I'm going to let you run us through.
Well, here are our map videos coming up on screen for you now. So, I'm very intrigued about where we could possibly be going. We haven't seen a chalet yet. You know, me and Creedy haven't got the cast one together. He finally got his first one
Day,
recently.
please.
Oh, that would be so great. But Cafe, first to go. Coastline, next to go. And I like this. Again, Coastline, not a very popular map if you just look at the reactions of everyone watching EUL today. When we saw a Blackbeard pick getting brought out on Coastline, I think that tells you everything you need to know about this map in competitive play. Oregon, we've seen it played, well, honestly, to death. So I'm not going to complain seeing it taken out of our map pool just quite yet. Yeah, a great map, great balance, leads to some great action, but it's overplayed. Chalet, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it hurts. It hurts. I love Chalet. Chalet, a great new map in the competitive pool. Not going to get brought out. Tidal is banning that out. So our next ban is going to be Villa. So we're not going to get to go to the rolling hills of Tuscany. So we could see a double header here on Clubhouse. Who's it going to be? And yes, it is. Conflict goes as Clubhouse is going to be brought out yet again. The litmus test between teams to see who's going to be the strongest. And of course, I see Tidal on that offensive side first. So, double header on Clubhouse, which gives us a great example for perfect compare and contrast. We just witnessed a very dominant display from X13. Will any of these teams be able to have such a level of control on this map, or how much tighter will it be between these two?
Okay, well, I'm looking at this right now, and I'm seeing that Tidal, they were the ones to ban out Coastline and Consulate at both ends of that ban phase. Their first ban was Coastline, their last ban was Consulate. And that basically says to me, they're the people taking away these more frag-orientated maps, the aggressive maps. Because you're looking at this and saying, okay, you're taking away the maps where the aggression is a key point of an attack and a defense. And the roam game and the smaller maps, that's where a lot of the legwork is done. You're saying, okay, Consulate or Clubhouse, where do we want to go? Clubhouse. We're going to go to that map where it's a bit more default, a bit more strat-orientated, and a little bit more in the strategic mind rather than that. Productions informed me, actually, Whippet. All three bands from Tidal were C's. They had Chalet, Coastline, and Consulate. So nice little bit of a alliteration there for you, just in case you were craving some for some reason.
It's interesting stat line to come up with, but again, it's something.
It's the
we
best
don't have,
I've got, dude. I'm tired.
So am I. It's just taking over midnight for us, but we're almost ready to hop into the action for this, our second Clubhouse of the evening. So here we go. It's going to be Prevail versus Tidal. Second time we're going to the German Clubhouse, and our ban phase begins. We saw Habana getting banned out previously with X13. I wonder, will we see that getting brought out again? Habana, the Queen of Hatches, can have such an important role on a map like this, where hatches are very important to attack that basement side. But I wonder if this is just going to be a bit more default. Will we just see a Maverick Thatcher or Maverick Hard Breach? Well, first of all, Thatcher's off the boards, and a massive surprise to everyone watching, I'd assume.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the atypical bans, because you look at them and they change the way that the game needs to be played. You're looking at it and you're saying that Habana and Thatcher ban, it took away something there. Now, this ban from Tidal, that's going to give something else. I saw a little bit of a happy reaction from you there as the ace was taken away. Suddenly, well, that makes me think, well, we're not going to see the real... I'm not really sure how to describe it. We're going to see a lot more focus on the ranged. I think Habana, that's going to be the go-to Heart Breacher here alongside the Maverick, because you still have the kitchen hatches. You still have the potential to get a lot of Heart Breach done, and with the options of how you want to disperse those pellets, well, that's a real big benefit to have. Cade is going to stay on the board at the moment. We're going to see Valkyrie taken away yet again. And I think a lot of the bans that we've seen today have focused around that kitchen area, hasn't it?
They really have. Again, it's such a very provident area on a map like Clubhouse. You can get so much control from it and use it for executions, and Mirror is going to be off the board. So yet again, we're seeing that Kaid stay through this ban phase, and I would kind of say keep your eye on that one for the entirety of this matchup, whether it's Prevail or Title on the defensive side. Those Electric Claws have a massive impact and can drag a round out to the bitter end just by the fact they deny those easy wall accesses. And well, I'm looking forward to getting this one. As you mentioned though,
Yeah.
my reaction when I saw that ace ban, I love it when teams take away ace because to me, those Selma charges kind of ring out one thing. It's free hard breach if you can clear off that utility. It's very tricky to
Hmm.
impact trick them effectively once you put one in that bottom end. Perhaps you give yourself that line of sight or that option to open it up fully. And it just gives you so much kind of fire and forget. Chuck it from a distance, it sticks to wall, it gets the work done. Now they're forced to either use the Maverick to open it up, get those Habana X Kairos pellets, which take a long time and are very exposed to any tricking, electric claws on the board, or you have a secondary harbor utility in your back pocket of selective operators, which is well a kind of a loving nickname we have for that over in Europe. Europe is
Hmm.
the can opener or trampoline, depending on what you're inclined to say.
I think honestly, it's part breach gadget for me. I'm gonna have to be a bit unfun there. I know you've got a nice war going on with your mates, but looking at that, yeah, the ace breach, the ace ban, that brings a lot of well, it throws us back actually to when we didn't see ace in the competitive pool, and we had those options between the Habana and the Thermite. Obviously, the changes have gone through, and Maverick is also going to be on the board. So the big things that we're going to see is, I think, the Maverick and Habana. That's going to be the combination. You need to bring that Maverick on the attack for those hatches, because otherwise that bottom floor, especially with Cade, it just makes life that little bit harder. Just to remind you of the bands that we're looking at right now, the map side, while we wait for a player to get back into the lobby, very interesting in the actual spread. Because like I said before, the first and last ban was Coastline and Consular coming out for title. And you think you typically expect to see them coming out before, maybe for teams looking at playing title in the very near future. Well, why are they picking to ban Chalet instead of Consular? If Coastline's gone, they don't like that aggressive style, that very momentum-based gameplay. Then why are you taking Chalet away instead of Consular at that point? That's a big question that's risen for me, whereas I think Prevail, they're just going for more, they're fed up with the normal bans and they're getting rid of this. They said, right, you choose either Consular or Clubhouse, we're comfortable on both.
It kind of looked like there was approaches. We saw Prevail. They banned out very structured maps. They got rid of, for example, a Villa, where you have to be a very structured and rigid team to have a lot of success because on the attacking side, there's so many buffer rooms, and on the defense, because of that extension, there's so many margin for error. You can make mistakes in individual gunfights and give up massive control. So getting rid of structured and more rigid maps like that one or like those that we saw banned out, Cafe, another example of that, gives them that extra bit of freedom. And yes, Clubhouse still brings that level of structure, but it also has the option fluidity. You have lots of available rotates for
Hmm.
that aggressive roam presence, whether you want to use hatches to drop down on the main stairs. And again, because of its age, because of how comfortable lots of players and lots of teams tend to be, it's a very good choice. And we're still in the very early days of this one, our very first matchup in Group B. So this ban phase is something I would expect for a very opening couple of games because no one wants to kind of show the depth of just their map pools
Hmm.
just yet. No one wants to be going, hey, look how good our chalet is. Look how good all of these kind of outside of the meta picks perhaps are. They want to hold on them for a little bit longer. So I'd imagine, we've seen a double header of Clubhouse. Get used to seeing Clubhouse, Oregon, and Cafe for a couple of these early few stages because I think that's what a lot of teams are going to play. Keep everything hidden, keep kind of the meat and potatoes of Siege, wait to evolve through this. And perhaps they might spot, weaknesses of other teams, and it's a good litmus test of seeing where everyone is if all these maps or
Hmm.
core maps are being played.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I do love the autoban feature because it means you've got to have that very deep map pool and strat book, and it's something that you just can't avoid at that point. But something I do want to talk about is the actual operator bans. Now, we've gone quite a bit in depth, but I'm thinking with a Maverick being taken away a Thatcher Maverick not being taken away. Let's get this right if I'm going to talk anything. With that Maverick still being on the board, well, I understand why we're seeing that Mirror and Valkyrie being taken away, because you look at this and you say, okay, You take away Valkyrie, that protects your mirror just that little bit more from C4s. When you think about little information that might be hard to spot, you don't want to commit to having an IQ on that lineup when you could bring, say, instead of an IQ, you could bring a Iana with those frag grenades and with that Gon 6, or you could bring a Jackal or a Nomad to shut down the roam game. Something you pointed out on Clubhouse is a very big thing to bring. Then you think about the mirror ban, and well, I think that's very much explained based on what we just saw with X13. They were able to utilize by saying, okay, yeah, you have a Maverick, but we have lounge control. We have a castle and a mirror committed to this position, and they both have secondary shotguns. They have a C4 between them, and then suddenly it says, okay, it's not a case of can they get that breach open? Can they get into the server room? It's a question of can they stay alive in the server room, because then you have that vertical play. Granted, this wasn't an outcome we saw. We saw Mickey really commit to construction time, I think, both times, I'm going to be honest, because they went for that position, but yet again, they just weren't able to deal with it. So, Mirror, I think is a very obvious reason why it's been banned. And Whippet, you know Peak in EU, he's a Uni League owner, but he plays sometimes as well. And whenever he plays, you're in for an exciting game. And having a Mirror with Peak, with this guy, he will go to that bottom floor on Clubhouse, right? He will reinforce all but the right side wall looking towards the main stairs in Church. He will have a mirror window and a shield, and he will play with an SMG-11 and just rip you to shreds. The fact that Mirror has so many lethal opportunities for teams to bring out, well, it's just scary to have it on the board. And we've touched upon one that, you know, you're probably going to see a few more times, which is the X13 one. I've talked about crazy, wacky ones that my friend brings out, but honestly, at the end of the day, the amount of versatility that a mirror has, because you think about it, you're pushing in Whippet under time constraints, and you see a mirror window that hasn't been popped. You don't know if there's a player there. You have to assume that there is, and you have to assume that they know where you are. Even if there's nobody sat there, that is constantly there. That paranoia kicks in, that pressure, and then you think, if Valkyrie wasn't banned out, or if there's a Maestro or Bulletproof Cam there, well, suddenly that red, you've been spotted, it's picking up. And I've gone on a very nice little essay, but I think I've encapsulated a lot of the points on why we're seeing teams go for these bans, because while we wait for the casters to start the game, well, you know, we might as well. We might as well get really in-depth and see, and talk about what we expect to see, because it's going to be a very different game from the first one.
Mm-hmm. So, well, we've kind of, as you mentioned, the mirror windows, how prevalent they can be. So banning it out in the ban phase makes it much easier. You don't have to deal with it in server. And again, on a map like this, where some, your verticality can be limited on certain sites, just like that basement where the windows can be in very protected positions, getting rid of it now makes it much easier. One thing that I think in both matches that we somewhat glossed over is that Valkyrie ban. Those black eye cameras are so potent at relaying information, whether it's from C4s down below, or just giving that roam presence the comfort to get aggressive and swing wide positions and know where this push is coming from. They give so much information. So banning that out kind of amputates a limb that the defense can use. They don't have that level of kind of outreach of the objective. Now, if they want to get kind of further range of information out to the default cameras, they have to bring bulletproof. So yo guys, and putting them up is going to take away stuff like C4s from your collectives. So not going to be ideal. We are just getting a little whisper in our ear that we are going to be throwing to a little bit of break to get this lobby back up and running for you. So until then, we'll be waiting. So casters start game. We'll have to wait just a little bit longer.
Shocking behavior, honestly. Hello and welcome back. We are finally able to start the game and finally get into this clubhouse. Whip it. Let's waste no time. Let's look at this bottom floor. We've got a Mozzie, we've got a Mute, we've got a Castle. Well, what does this say?
Well, this is going to be a 2-1-2 SSG-styled hole, or they're going to try and bail it out either or, but they have all the tools available to them to do so. We're going to see Boomski's 6 picking away and picking up that Vigil, and to me, this is ringing the alarm bells. 2-1-2 hold is on the way. Can we see Tidal read into this perfectly? Again, it's a strategy which has had its time, it's had its place at the pinnacle of this game. But there's a reason why you don't see, for example, the forefathers of the strategy SSG run it to the same prevalence they used to. It's been figured out. It's been bred into. It's been counter-stratted time after time again. People know it's very vulnerable to an aggressive play from either blue or dirt tunnel. Yes, you have the availability to drop down Moto Hatch and collapse from that rotation, but it's very difficult to retake that control once you've lost it. So we might be seeing a small adaptation of it, because that's an interesting castle getting placed on the master bedroom window. Not common for it. So I wonder if it's going to be a small adaptation of it, small little changes of it. I love seeing Mute Mozzie on the board, and especially when the Mute's upstairs. This is good.
Yeah. I'm looking at the castle and where that's being placed. That's immediately saying to me, it's just covering these roamers. It's just making sure they're safe. You have that window, they can get their way to main stairs comfortably. Personally, I'd probably want to put that on construction. Construction's where you could just get a huge line. You could stop them getting through that actual position. But we are going to see the sledge pushing in. X13 is going to be able to find a first kill onto Boomski and suddenly whip it. Well, we might be looking at that very aggressive take coming from the attackers. Ash, Unlimited, and X13, well, they're inside stock right now. They know the hatch is open. A little bit of drone work, well, that can't kill them at all. They're getting that information. They're working out where the rest of the roams are and making sure that, well, if they're doing an SSG roam, we need to cover our flanks. This is where we're vulnerable. We don't have that kitchen control. We don't have the dirt control. We don't have an opportunity to push just yet, even though we have stock. Now, the main focus for Tidal is get your roam game perfect. You need to take away Prevail, you need to take away the Mute, or at least put the pressure on them so that the rest of your team can start to advance. That's going to fall down to Unlimited, but Momo's getting a little bit restless, going to be looking for a push, put some aggression on, maybe deal with X13. Right now, Prevail immediately a player down, which Momo, well, they're just going to say no. Let's even things up a bit. It's not fair enough.
Takes a lot of damage in doing so X13 is off the board. Unlimited getting a lot of damage received from that Logi hatch. Not ideal to have your Ash already lowered at HP, as Gizmo is going to get one in the read sync. That's going to be a great moment, because that's going to put Prevail in a 4 versus 3. 2 members now of Tidal, cascading and charging through Dirt Tunnel. Look to make their entryway directly in the objective. Waltz taking his time, getting that drone out, and all 3 now stacking up to make this push. Gizmo is going to be holding the front line, finds a second in the round. We'll also find number 3 to hold this now. The Maverick gets aggressive, but the crossfire from Unlimited is there. They've got control now, but the rotation's coming back down towards the objective. Waltz tries to get this plant down. 8 seconds left, but that's going to be a fantastic moment. Rush gets the kill, but he's going to get traded down instantly. It's Waltz versus Momo in a 1 versus 1. It's Mozzie versus Maverick, but is the information there? Momo has an opportunity to pounce. This plant's going down. The audio cue is there. He's got no solid information, however, but he's got a C4. Sends it into the ether. Will it land? No! But he pulls up an aggressive push. No! The Mozzie wins. Momo closes it out. 20 HP and the dream. And that's all you need to get that very opening round. A scrappy one, but they're going to be happy to get that point on the board. Whew.
Yes, Momo able to find the first and last kill in that round for Prevail at the break point, and that clutch, that 1 versus 1. That's what I wanted to see. The big brains coming out from that Roma as you collapse in. You know that plant's coming down, and you're in a 1 versus 1. Time is ticking down, and you know that there's a drone covering that main, so if you start pushing, they'll know they have the audio, so you go for the C4 rip. The C4 goes out, it's been called by the time you've ripped it. So the Maverick, they're going to start moving. They're going to try and get into a position where they could either go for a plant or a kill. But then you look at the time. It's going to have to be a kill. Going to have to get aggressive, and a very good read from Momo to push them through for that. Because if they ran over towards Armory side, well, it would have been running into a C4. But if they run towards you, you run into the P10 Roni. Big things there as well was Tidal. They had that control of stock, but they got it very aggressively. They had an option of bringing a couple more players around, going for that drop into stock, maybe getting control of that blue bar, on that blue position, and then flood into Armory, maybe leave a player there to cover that rotate. there were options, but it felt like their game plan hadn't even caught up with their 2 entries at that point. So Prevail, they're going to be heading to CCTV. They're going to bring a default setup, no mirror, obviously, or Valkyrie due to the operator bans. But we're going to see the mute jammers and those jammers being placed in very, very difficult ways for the attackers to get rid of them. A frag grenade or an impact could go through that garage drone hole, yes, but could it have that impact? Maybe not. Yet again, we're going to see this Maverick. That's going to be a mainstay of this attack. They need to get control of that breach. They need to get control of that rotation. They need to know that they can deal with the attackers. Now, quite interesting what we've seen right now. Those mute jammers are taken away. And now we're seeing the K-Claws being used in rafters because they're a little bit safer, actually. And the Twitch drone, well, with the mute jammer, you can't take it out. They've just realized that they're not going to keep that breach closed for long, no matter where they use the utility, so just make them do something. Make them waste something and use that Maverick.
I like what I'm seeing so far. Early, we're going to see that extension. Jacuzzi wall's been opened up, so a split push is in play. A very dominant strategy, and I think, well, in North America, I've seen this used to such great avail by teams like TSM. They really shut down Clubhouse dominant sides. X13 finds himself in an early DBNO. Careful, don't touch that wall. You're going to get an embarrassing death from the kill feed if you do so. But that's going to be a sledge on 20 HP, and for a little bit of time, at least isolated and alone, and not in this fight. That revive comes out, however, so he's going to be back in this fight. But again, 20 HP, not a lot to work with. Still has his grenade, so he has that potential. That hammer's already done its job of providing an initial entryway inside of that jacuzzi. Good drone work coming out now to spot that player inside of construction. That's going to be Boomski. He's got the SMG-11. He's got that shotgun. Shots whizzing past him from that player on the roof. He's got to be very careful. He holds the key of utility. He's got those 3 toxic canisters in his back pocket, and every second he ticks away, that's going to make him stronger and stronger, so he needs to stay in this fight, as it's going to look like the Ash trying to find that initial entryway. That's going to be Parakeet. He's going to be pushing into construction now. That mute jammer denying initial entry through that wall as Boomski is going to get the opening kill. A great shot with that SMG-11. He's got smoke canisters at his disposal, so there goes number 1 of 3. A grenade soars over, finds the mute jammer, but no damage. A C4 from below! And oh, a great timing there. Waltz looks at his demise, sailed towards him, as now Habana, alone and isolated, trying to fight through this breach. Limited, though, however, has that support. Looks towards Island, but can't spot the feet. Got X13 cautiously playing by the balcony, 20 HP to battle and brawl with, but with 35 seconds remaining, he gets the kill. Boomski falls, that's the smoke. This could be a collapse now as Tidal have a chance, but that's going to be Momo from below, shutting down Parakeet and leaving up the fuser in no man's land. X13 knows he's got to push, got to find this kill. It's important, imperative for this round. A second kill from him now. We've only got 15 seconds left to go. It's going to be a bare knuckle brawl. We hit red on the timer as it's going to be a push as Gizmo finds X13. It's all down to unlimited. Can he unleash his power? He gets one with a timer with only 5 seconds left to go. Surely unwinnable. He gets the mute, but he tries to go for that plan, but no time remaining, and it's going to be Prevail waiting on that clock to win their second round, but sweaty palms all around as that came down to the wire.
Damn, holy moly. Right there, you're looking at Tidal, and, well, that round was lost at that point when you see the construction point. Like you said, it came down to the smoke coming through, having a huge, huge performance because you're slowing them down. That's 1 smoke canister goes out, like you said. Not only that, but they've also found a kill as well. So suddenly they're just backing up. They're just playing it safe. You had Momo down below. You get the kill. Suddenly, Tidal, they need to focus on that player down below. They have to get the diffuser, and they have to deal with Momo to do so. That's why you're seeing X13 going below, trying to get that kill. Yeah, they get it. But Tidal, you've been isolated. You've been split apart in a 2 versus 3, and you've got to push up those red stairs because the timer, like the stairs, was red. Now, Jim Bedroom, the Aruni, will be brought out to try and shut down this utility, which is something Prevail have been great at so far. We haven't seen frag grenades have that much of an impact. Flashbangs, any projectiles really just hasn't seemed to have much of a notice as long as it's being used by Tidal. Prevail on the flip side, a very nice C4 came through that cash construction wall. It found a kill, and it just added weight onto weight of the shoulders of the actual Tidal players. Unlimited, huge after push through, try and find kills, but wasn't meant to happen. Now, Jim Bedroom, Aruni Gates, mute jammers. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. And Tidal, maybe there might be a little bit of merit in getting control of that construction first. At least the window and maybe Logi, and just split them apart.
So much utility to clear, so many things to push through, and those Saria gates are going to be an absolute nightmare if not cleared proficiently. Again, having that Saria gate kind of acts as a force of commitment. You have to commit something towards it, and looking at now, placed on that construction window, meaning they've got it cleared. Yes, you can shoot through it. Yes, it opens up when you cross through to give that predictability. But again, it forces you to commit utility, read or display your position and show your intent. And that's the reason for these positionings of them. I love seeing them getting played because they burn away utility, but also have such another prevalence. Rush, C4, primed and ready, and well, yeah, indeed a messy Maverick line, and ho-ho! Waltz wasn't expecting that one. The Nokia brick from hell lands in his face, and well, he's no longer going to be sitting pretty in this one. He's off the board early, and his job incomplete. That wall isn't opened up yet now. Messy scrap of a Maverick line means that's not going to be a comfortable position for anyone to walk up to next. Actually, no, he has got that wall open, so his life wasn't in vain. They've got open that breach, but still, losing a gun so early and those grenades, it's a massive blow.
Balling, but at what cost? Greedsinko is going to be able to find a kill from that construction. Boomski has an answer, takes away the Zofia, all the way repelling onto Garage, and suddenly you've got to think, well, a lot of the utility that would be committed to that Aruna gate, just taken it away. Prevail, they're still committed to this cash side hold. They're intent on keeping Tidal apart because that's something they've been doing incredibly. They've been keeping them from getting together and coordinating. We've seen Tidal, they've been split apart a number of times. For example, at last round, when we saw construction and we saw the very end of the round, and you look at the first one and you look at how they were at shot control but not Garage, and well, it just wasn't working out incredibly well, but 48 seconds ticking down. X-Stars wants to go below, realizing that this Jacuzzi wall is being watched. It's being covered. So, you've got to divert the attention. You've got to go towards the main stairs. You've got to find a different entryway onto site. It's a very risky way to do so, especially with the threat of this collapse from the Roamers. But here we go. X-Stars is ready for it. Finds one, looks for the second one, but Momo's going to win that gunfight. Now, though, Pankrat's going to jump in. Unlimited has control of 90. That was a huge sacrifice for the team. Pankrat, though, looking for this kill. Unlimited pushing into the site there for the refrag. Able to find one, has to find another, and another on top of that, but Momo's not going to let it happen. Prevail, they shut it down. They have roamers ready to deal with it if it goes wrong. If Pankrat didn't get that kill, they had somebody there to come up right behind. Very, very nicely done from Prevail. Tidal, a huge effort, a huge opportunity, squandered, unfortunately, to get through. And I think it comes down to being split apart and stalling out. That's where we're seeing Tidal really start to struggle at this point.
This has been a very strong defense from Prevail. They've been able to always find a trade, and I think that's the answer, the key to their success. They're not letting Tidal get anything for free. If they find a kill, well, someone on Prevail is like, I'm gonna get that back. They play perfectly around that, and it already looks like we're going to be seeing another 2-1-2 style hold, another SSGS roam presence upstairs. We saw the 6-pick to that castle getting brought out. So, yes, up they go. It's going to be set up the exact same way we expected. We saw Tidal get aggressive inside of stock. We saw the initial entry from X-Stars on the sledge. He was very aggressive and found the early kill onto that Vigil, who I believe was Boomski. So they need to find that again. They need to be aggressive. They need to get that opener, but they need to be able to build upon that, because once they got that kill, they stalled out. They lost a lot of that presence, and Momo was able to kind of sweep around and pounce and find those trade-offs and stay in that fight. And ultimately, it did come down to that 1-versus-1 with that multi prevail. We mentioned that castle barrier upstairs on that master bedroom wall. Normally you see it on construction. Normally, because construction is one of those key rotation points for people rotating down. They want to drop that bar hatch and be able to re-collapse towards the objective if they lose it due to that aggressive play. But putting it on master bedroom, I think, is an approach to try and deny at a very direct kind of coverage. If someone sits on that position, tries to fight someone directly, it forces that commitment of utility and a very loud and audible play. We see exist on that mute, just sitting upstairs, vibing, chilling, giving himself some rotations. The brawl with SMG11 is going to be his main tool of destruction, as Unlimited waits for some information, waits for his own game to be set up and processed so he can make his initial entryway. Exist is going to be the only man holding this master bedroom side, but he's got support from his teammates, I'd imagine, but that rotation held now as well. I think anyone who goes into construction is going to find themselves caught in a multiple-way crossfire here, so just be very careful with your positioning, and it's going to be X13 to get the opening kill, but once again, Prevail instantaneous on that trade as X13 falls as Momo tries to get aggressive, but Unlimited is going to send some warning shots downrange, and the Australian operator wants nothing to do with that engagement.
Yes, absolutely huge, finding the refrag taken away. X13 yet again, the first player to fall, and right there, Boomski gonna catch a kill. Momo's able to find another one as well. A 4 versus 2 right now, and Tidal, well, they're split apart yet again. We're seeing Waltz trying to find something. The diffuser's up in construction, but up in construction no more. Boomski's able to find a kill, and Waltz, you're trying to attack the bottom floor site, but it looks like the mouse just died. Prevail's gonna close it down, and in no small part down to the refrag. There it is. Yep, it happened, and unfortunately, the round was already lost. We saw players being picked apart, like you said. We're seeing Prevail, they're constantly there for refrags. Momo, literally in the same frame as losing a teammate, got a kill. It's all coming down to playing tighter together than my dad's wallet at this point, because you're looking at just refrag after refrag. These roamers, they're together. Anytime somebody is making a play or making a call, a member of Prevail is coming around to play off of it and capitalize and at least find the sunny side up, if at all. Prevail, 4 rounds on the board. Tidal have nothing to their name other than a couple of close rounds. Now, though, they really need to step it up. That bottom floor definitely felt more like a gym bedroom hole, to be honest, because that's where we saw it play out. The roaming game, it worked out beautifully because Tidal said, well, the aggressive play, it didn't work. They split us apart in half. We're going to take it slower, and that didn't work either. Then the big question you need to ask is, why was I told this was probably going to be more balanced? Tidal, if they want to live up to that prediction, well, then they're going to really need to find something.
I have to say, Prevail have played this super. Nothing I've seen, I have cast a lot of games, and very rarely I see a team at this level of play have such a defined trade game. Prevail, as we've mentioned, are finding trades in the blink of an eye. Click your fingers, and they've got that trade-off. Nothing Tidal do comes for free. They get the opening kill while someone's swinging that corner to trade it up instantly. And right now, Prevail have found so much success in that method, and that's really tripping Tidal up. So can they find a way to kind of bear the storm right now, get through this tricky phase as Exist is going to be the first to fall, and well, he dies in a very exposed position early in the round, and Tidal get that one for free, as Prevail can't find a trade-off to that one, but none for the lack of trying, as we hear Jaeger's car being sing off in the distance. That's Momo in a very good position, but that drone could be the demise of Mozzie. Just sees the heels of the TSM skin, and now knows there's a player inside of Jim. And oh, X-Stars, you've just got done dirty, but the trade is there. Unlimited gets that off, and while Tidal taking a page out of Prevail's book, instantaneous trades to hold on to that advantage they've gained. As Gizmo inside of Lounge, who has that potential to flank now as that main wall's been opened up, the site's been split in half, and this just became a very tricky round for Prevail to hold on to.
Yeah, I understand why you tripped up on that. It feels very weird to say at this point based on how we've seen the rounds going, but no, Tidal, they found Prevail's resting copy of the Art of the Trade, and they've just picked it up and read it completely back to back in the space of a prep phase. Really good work setting themselves up for the refrag and the trade. They've been able to find 2 kills to the 1 that Prevail have so far. Most importantly, Tidal, the way they're taking the gunfights, in particular Packrat, that was huge. And Unlimited right now is able to find a kill as well on the aggression of Boomski. This is something at this point, Prevail, they can't afford to push. They can't afford to go for the refrags. This is where really the advantage. Prevail, they're going to have to hold this attack. They're going to find Gizmo getting a kill, but it's going to be taken away by Unlimited, and in doing so, now it's all down to rush in that rafters. You have the bullet hole, but you know you've been split apart just like you've done to them. The C4 in pocket will go out, but it won't stop the plan. It won't even get a little bit of damage. Now, the post plan, it's going to come through, and Tidal pick up their first round by flicking the switch and doing everything right. Now, the big question is, Whippet, can they do it again? Can they get that 4-2 split? Can they break the momentum that Prevail has been riding so hard right now?
I think the key to success is getting that initial entry. If they can find the opening kill and not get traded off instantaneously, hold that advantage, they might be able to have that lightning strike twice. Unfortunate there about that Kaid C4. It would have landed and denied that plant if thrown just 2 seconds earlier. You've got a feel for that one. So, CC and Castrum getting brought out now. Third time of asking, can Prevail hold on to this time? Well, my getting 6 pick 2, so double catchers in play. So, utility burn is going to be the key strategy of this one. They don't have a lot of shields to play around with the kind of set up bunker positions where those catchers can drain away utility. So interesting to see where that soul shield is going to get used because they've only got one hand of smoke of Boomski. So that's going to be a key bit of utility right now because of that double catcher setup. They can put that in a position where they're forced to kind of push in towards, where they're forced to burn it away. It's going to be very strong, but it looks like he's going to put it, playing standard, default, holding red, gives himself that fortifiable position to hold that main breach. Looking title, as you mentioned, capitalize, become a title away from a presence in this matchup and really cascade through the defenses of Prevail. Because I think they certainly have that potential. They, we can, in one-on-one engagements, they can draw blood. They can be very potent and dangerous. All they need to do is kind of work around that trade game.
Okay, what I was gonna say was Rush is gonna be playing in that stock area until Exist said no. But where Exist is playing right now, you're looking to bring that one mind. That player being brought instead of Exist, trying to play down there because last time they were there, there was quite a few issues caused. And it looks like they're gonna just say no. We're not gonna give away that kill. We're gonna just put some magnets there. As soon as that triggers, then we think about the Romas coming down. Momo, though, is going to be in Logi. Has heard that hatch being opened up. If you haven't, well, the headphones might not be turned on loud enough. So, now we're looking at Gizmo, able to find a kill onto the Maverick. Seemingly the opening kill in pretty much every game we've seen so far, but the Maverick will come through successfully. Gizmo now has a couple of angles to watch, and a good bit of coordination can take them out. The question is, are we going to see that? No! Tidal's going to start moving through Kuzi's side, and Momo going to be finding that kill on main stairs. Momo and Gizmo, really huge hitters when it comes up to this impact killing game. Packrat, though, speaking of impact kills, gonna have to try and find Momo, gonna have to find the opening kill for the attackers. Time is starting to tick down, and this is a round you can't afford to lose. Let's say if we see the same split we saw before, and Boomski's gonna try and make sure of it, finding another kill with 1:40 on the clock.
This is a massive moment from Prevail, but X13 isn't going to give up easily. A fantastic shot onto Exist there, finds his head, and perhaps gives his team a lifeline. A 2 versus 4 as X13 finds a second one. Boomski gets aggressive and slaps down instantaneously. Sync though has to make something work on around 20 HP. Not ideal to work with, but nonetheless he's got to find something. As Gizmo in a great position on Rafters as Momo back down below. That could be the defining factors. That Malusi holds the C4, can toss that up and cause massive amounts of collateral damage. The impacts are out, utility getting burned, the benefit of that double capture, and off it goes with the C4 to no avail. Doesn't land, and not a single point of HP is being lost. As Rush, now the front line, got the bullet holes, spots the player, but no! Sophia slaps him down. The pre-fire doesn't land, however, as Gizmo's there, but return off, and a trade of perfection as Momo's there to get the scraps and get Prevail. Yet another round. We mentioned their ability to trade, and right there, executed perfectly the read of Malusi to come up those red stairs when the pressure was mounting. But Tidal showing that no matter the odds, no matter the advantage their opposition hold, they're going to fight tooth and nail.
Yes, a very, very strong round coming out from Prevail at that point, but Tidal, really, really big opportunities for them at the end of that round, where we saw X-Stars and Reedsync, they just started to get some kills on the board, and my, it was beautiful. The coordination there to get it down to that 3 versus 2, beautiful. Then it came down to the push. Now, the big issue was they didn't have Heart Breach left. The construction wall was still open, and Momo was still down below. They knew that from that C4. They knew, even if it didn't kill someone, the threat of a roam is ever present. Then they realized, okay, we've got to push through. We've got to capitalize, because that means it's 2 versus 2 on site. We push through. We pre-fire the bullets. We get a kill. Then we move in. Pre-fire the next player, but we weren't able to find Gizmo. Suddenly, at that point, you go for the refrag onto that place, and yeah, it's still a 1 versus 1 on site now. So we get that kill, push through, we plan, we're prepared for the retake. No, Momo did not miss a single trick with it. Went up the red stairs, found a kill, and now we're heading to the bottom floor. Tidal the defense. Opportunity to put a couple of rounds on the board, but at the moment, they run the risk of replaying what we saw in our first game, which was a 5-1 split, and they're still at a very, very precarious situation. Prevail, one aggressive round. One round where they do the basics right, they've guaranteed overtime at the very least. My question is, how are we going to see this defense? We're not going to see Prevail's... We're not going to see Prevail's opportunity of that SSG roam, and we're also not going to see Prevail wanting to get too aggressive, I don't think. I think they're saying, okay, let's use our measured approach. That's where we've been finding our refrags, our kills, our opening. That's where we find it, especially with the positioning. So let's get there with it.
I couldn't agree more with that one. Again, Prevail right now on the side swap, it's going to be a difficult thing to get a foothold in this, because I think Tidal are going to play a lot more reserved. You know, they're one round away from having that disadvantage of your opposition having match points. So playing a more reserved playstyle, falling back, bunkering up on this defense downstairs, makes a lot of sense. And again, on a site like this, it's a very, very viable strategy, if not one of the most viable sites to do such a thing. As they've got the player inside of Dirt Tunnel, they've got to brawl with, they've got all of this potential. When this push comes towards them to hold the line, the electric rod gets grenaded away. So that hatch is going to be pretty free to open up. The impact trick, of course, is a threat. The Maestro, I believe, has those impact grenades. So keep an eye on that engagement. Yes, he does have 2 of them available. So Boomski brings that torch over, and it looks like he's going to perhaps take the risk of using that Maverick torch to open up this hatch. Nope, X-Power's has deployed. I think that's a very, very wise choice indeed. The Maestro down below sends up an impact trick and gets both sets of X-Power's pellets. And again, it's a delicate balance. It's a dance, perhaps, to try and remove this utility, as Reedsing is going to fall a little bit back down towards box 1, keep himself in this fight as that hatch is now being established. Verticality by Gizmo remodeling the floor as Boomski opens up this moto hatch, gets that work done as we hit around a minute left in this round.
Oh no, we're seeing Unlimited just running up main stairs. Boomski's gonna get taken down, but not from that Ash. It's from the Jaeger, sorry. It's gonna be the smoke. Who actually takes away. Packrat gonna be able to find that kill. Gizmo finding the shot onto Reed as they start to move downstairs. Unlimited unable to get anything. Now we're just gonna see Gizmo finding another kill, a second to bring this through. Prevail, they've had aggression, they have map control, and now they're looking to really, really compound it. They're wanting to get moving. They have a player trapped in dirt and they know it. They have an Elder that they have already dealt with, so the Evil Eyes are only going to give away that information. They're getting all the pieces in play, and now they're ready to come out. The push into blue will start to take place, exists in a great opportunity to shut down the roam and the rotate, but the plant's going downstairs. Gizmo and Momo, they're going to find a kill each, and suddenly Waltz on 1 HP, stops the plant going down. No, he won't! The plant's going to go down, and Gizmo's just going to push them through to match point. We're seeing Prevail, the positioning, the coordination, the flow of the game. They're understanding it so much. They're just saying, well, we're going to push down here and distract them. If one person deals with the player in blue, the other prepares for that dirt refrag. Beautifully, beautifully played by Prevail. I'm looking at them and I can't really fault them in that many ways. Momo, though, easily my MVP at the moment, just in the amount of impact kills that they're picking up. But honestly, this is very much a team effort in my opinion. I know I just called out Momo as being a standout player, but the way that they're playing together is the most important thing for me.
When we talk about Prevail so far, we've mentioned, the fact that they've been able to trade each other off to perfection, have massive comfort in their defensive strategy to play stuff like that SSG hold. And you're right, they are a very cohesive 5-man unit, and that's showing, as so far Tidal have not presented enough of a challenge to find the answer against Prevail's style of play. All the pieces are there. Tidal are so close to being able to put a decent round together, but they just can't can't slot that last puzzle piece together, and right now Prevail are running away with this matchup. The scoreline speaks for itself. 6-1 dominance here on Clubhouse. Prevail, absolutely superb, sublime performance from them so far. Can they close this one out as Tidal go downstairs to the basement? Second time of asking for this Church and Arsenal hold. They don't make any major changes to that strategy, so can they make the micro adjustments to player positioning and engagement taking to get this round back on the board, as Prevail have now guaranteed themselves overtime at the worst case scenario. This is a great position for them. They have such a buffer, 5-round advantage. I don't think they're going to let this one slip between their fingertips.
Yeah, Tidal. need to play the perfect game. They need to get 5 rounds in a row with 0 faults to push through. Prevail, though, they've just got to get lucky once, and they're going to be starting off very strong. They know this with this roam clear. They're not bothering for that master construction. They're just getting control of this garage. Suddenly, Boomski, they're looking to get control of kitchen and stock and get these hatches open in record time yet again. Exists on the flank watch, already realizing where you need to go. Now is just going to be distracting this player in blue, not to get aggressive. They're going to try and put the pressure on Tidal so that they can get the control that's needed. Unlimited, well, you can't swing on this Boomski if he's playing on that west side and has Sophia covering it. Gizmo will be starting this vertical play, and Resync will be ignoring both Gizmo and the Habana pellets, and suddenly that kitchen hatch just opened up, and so did the round for Prevail.
Oh, great opening there, and an unquestioned one as well, as there's no trade-off, no potential there, but X-Stars looks to try and find one, but can't find the 9mm shot through the opening that Maverick has created. It would have been a nasty shot if he could have got it done, but a very improbable fight. Momo down by the bottom of main stairs, looks to make an initial entryway, knows that default camera is no longer to worry about. The yellow ping perhaps relaying a position of one of these defenders, or Boomski, I should say. Opening up this wall with a Maverick torch, a dangerous gamble to play, but there's no one there to stop him. Momo drops prone and looks for the feet, sends some shots downrange of that R4C, but no damage yet to be connected. But this is going to make a very tricky position for anyone who stumbles in that angle. Waltz looks to take a fight by main stairs, but slapped down instantly by Momo. Yet another kill, uncontested, but until Unlimited swings around and gets Exist. A 4 versus 3 with 50 seconds on the clock. Gizmo tapping away, knows the player is there, but no! His magazine runs dry at the worst moment as X-Stars gets aggressive. Momo falls, and a great shot from Unlimited from all the way downtown. Rush falls, but Boosty gets aggressive with Maverick finds X-Stars. A 2 versus 2, a brawl to ensue. Panic setting in, diffuser not held by anyone. Recovery of process as Gizmo gets it collected. The plant's available, can he get it done? 6 seconds left on that timer. There's the cover there. As Pack looks to get aggressive, but no! Slapped down by Boomski. The plant goes down, and now Unlimited a 1 versus 2. A post-plant situation. He's got lots of HP to work with, but not so much time. What work can he do? He's got a great weapon. The Brawler spots the head, but he's got so many angles to worry about, and slapped down by the L85 as Gizmo collects the final kill as Prevail have a 7-1 victory. A masterclass here on Clubhouse.
Yes, both teams, both Prevail and X13 really stepping up and shutting down their opposition. But they're going to be able to close things out. Both of them 7-1 and whip it. What a game to watch. You have to look at that and say Prevail, they were stronger, they were coordinated, they were ready to deal with whatever Tidal had. Their strat book, it ran deep and they did not wait to get in there. And Momo, how many times can I say the name? Team effort, like I said, but having that Momo just coming through, getting impact kills, finding the roams, the positioning at the right moment. I know Gizmo had MVP on the board, but Momo, it's just the little things I saw that came through just that little bit better. Tidal, they had a ton of great moments where they really could have brought something back, coming down to the positioning, the clutches, the little bit of coordination that we saw in dealing with some of the roam clear. That was a lot to bring into the future, and they're going to need to do so. But, well, Prevail, they're going to be able to find that first game in the Upsurge Premier League today.
It was a fantastic display from them. Superb on their defense. And I mentioned it a couple of times, but on that defensive side, they gave nothing up for free. They didn't let Tidal in at all. Always made everything from clearing utility to finding your entryway a war. And when you have so much pressure mounting on you from the early stage of a round, it's a nightmare's position to find yourself in. A fantastic performance from them. A great way to open up the group stage display. And that's going to add a bit of an exclamation point to this one. You know, don't take them to Clubhouse because we've just seen that they're very well oiled, very rhythmic in their destruction of teams here. And I think they might be able to continue that one if they're brought there once more.
Yeah, and I really want to talk about just the very ending right there, because you saw that position, you saw Gizmo and I believe it was the Maverick just going for that post plant. They realized it was a 2 versus 2. They had just got aggressive because, well, they realized they could. They had a lot of things going for them. They took control of Church. It was open. They could bring the sledge around to help out. And suddenly the plant, it's going down. You're seeing these players, they're playing tight together. They realize that if they split apart, they give the opportunity to Tidal to come back, and they didn't give it to them. That's exactly what you said. I said they played tighter than my wallet, and I think that rang true for the entirety of the game. Absolutely incredible from them. A very exciting game to watch. In Tidal, a lot of things to improve on. Not that that's a negative thing at all. Things to improve on, like positioning and coordination, and getting those little moments of brilliance just to become the standard for your team. That is going to be us done, though. So, Whippet, are there any closing thoughts before we do shoot off?
Nothing kind of concerning the game, but again, a massive kind of thank you to our wonderful production team here, Nova and Hyper, making sure that you all have the best possible viewing experience. And Critty, it's always an honor to join you on the virtual
Yeah,
caster desk, whether it's in
yes.
Europe or NA. It's always a pleasure. So I think that's everything from me. You take us out of this one.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Congratulations to both Prevail and X13. Next week, we should have Chief joining me yet again. So then we'll be getting a more regular setup. I think it's we're currently saying goodbye to Whippet as a regular Monday feature. It's been delightful, and I hope if we need someone to come in, you can make another shock reappearance. I'll be back on Wednesday with Stickula, but tomorrow we have a huge amount of games coming up as well, so don't miss a single little bit of it because they're going to be bangers.